Yo, what's up, you guys? Dizzy here. Just before we start this, I want to thank you all for tuning into this first episode of this new project of mine. It's supposed to go up tomorrow, and I don't even have a title yet. But, dude, you know what? If you're a fan of EDM, especially if you're an artist or a producer or DJ, you're going to want to stick around for this. I'm going to be getting a bunch of super cool homies that I know and people that I've connected with in the industry who make music and spin records to come talk about music, share their experience, and just have a good time, have some good conversations and some good vibes. So, with that out of the way, I'm super hyped to introduce my first guest. I'm starting this off with an absolute bang. I don't know how I'm going to top this or if it might just be all downhill from here, dude, because this guy's a fantastic DJ, amazing producer. You might have seen his Club Studio time set that just came out a couple weeks ago. If you're from Portland like me, you might have seen him absolutely just level the North Warehouse or Candy nightclub. It was a super dope privilege to have him on because he's never spoken publicly on the mic we get into that on the mic one time, but never publicly as MYSTRVS. So not only do you guys get to be a part of that, but we also dove deep into a bunch of stuff about those couple sets that you definitely wouldn't have seen from just watching them, as well as some insight into some of their stories and stuff that I didn't even expect to get into. Some a little bit of deep cuts in there. So yeah, I'm done talking your ear off. I'm gonna shut the fuck up, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Yo, you guys, we got the legendary MYSTRVS here beaming in through our extremely high tech voice scrambler 3000 here. How the hell are you, my
Sure.
man?
Good, man. I'm doing good. Tired, but I'm good.
Tired. I feel that, bro. All right. I mean, I don't see any reason to dilly-dally here. I just get right into it. So the first time I ever saw you or heard about you is when you did direct support for Virtual Riot at the North Warehouse. How did that
Yeah,
how did that come about, man?
dude. Well, my buddy out there, he had been working with North Warehouse for a little bit, and kind of just paying his dues, I guess, to finally get a shot to start booking his own, or like trusting him with a lineup, I guess. So
Okay.
once they had the booking, he reached out to me and said, or asked if I'd like to play. Um, and yeah, I've always wanted to play there. That's one of my favorite little venue in Portland for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. That was awesome. That was a really fun night.
Yeah. Did you have any contact with Virtual Riot's team or no? Is it like they keep them?
Well, I mean, not really necessarily. It was more just with them in general. But
Yeah.
I've crossed paths with him many different times, and it's always been a good time. So we talked a little bit like back and forth, just personally. But around that time, he was kind of occupied, so we didn't talk a lot. But it was definitely good to see Val again for sure.
For real. That's so cool. I didn't even know that. What are some other, if you want to name drop, I mean, like what's like the coolest artists you think you've gotten to connect with so far as doing this?
Um, wow, that's a hard one,
I know,
man.
yeah, it's a
Because
hard one.
I draw so much inspiration from so many different places. But I guess just like one-on-ones with it being like with Getter or just G Jones or just being around the homies all the time, especially out here in Denver, bro. There's you could throw a rock and hit a DJ out here. So
Totally. Is
yeah,
that okay? Dope, man. And was there anything that you were like? I mean, for me, Virtual Riot is my first instinct as far as that of like one that you were like, oh, there's no way, like maybe, but you know what I mean, like
as far
collabs
as
or
as
like
far
people
as
that you've
that
met.
dude. I mean, dude, Val is just on such. She's always been on just like that pedestal of music perfection, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to that, dude, I'd be tight. I don't see that. I can't see that happening anytime soon.
Right.
I know a lot of people that do have worked with them, and it's just they said it's just out of this world to see kind of be a fly on the wall when it comes to that guy.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, of course, I'd love to collab with every big artist. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
Totally.
at the same time, like in the realistic realm, in this small little genre of that we call riddim,
Yeah.
It's just it's definitely branching out. Like you see people like Alex like Hole,
Yeah.
collabing with Marcelo, and you just see stuff slowly like stretching out, which is cool to see for
Yeah.
sure. But for the most part, man, I'm just right now I'm just on the huge wave of just trying to schedule what I got coming for the next couple years. I mean, I know last year being kind of year one of the project, just wanting to really get my ducks in a row and not really focus on because I really don't care personally to play. That's not like the reason I do it. I love making music,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like for longevity wise, it's you got to build hype about like your sets and stuff like that's awesome, but
Yeah.
it's about the it's more like about the music. So just been really honing in and just getting stuff in order and really trying to plan for just releases, my next like releases and just what 2024 and 25 have in store for me. And then if everything in the way in my head I have it planned works out, then it'll be, time will come for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because so you say like, because I've heard it both ways from people where like people are like, oh, I started just like DJing like as a joke in my college dorm room, and then I got into producing, et cetera, et cetera. Or I have people who like I've heard like started playing an instrument and then started recording themselves, and then like discovered that. Is that you would say it's the latter, like
Uh,
produce production
it's so,
first?
yeah, I mean, it's so different for everybody. Everyone gets like um, that that little light bulb in their head of what they want to do in different ways. Some people produce first and they just love producing, and then it just led them to be able to do what they do now. And other people start out as DJs and
Yeah.
then like realize you gotta have tunes, so like
Yeah.
they start producing. You know what I mean? So um, yeah, just kind of everyone's different. I know me personally, like I was 14 and I couldn't stand like EDM. I just was like hardcore, like just hardcore, just like Chief Keef, like rap, like just
Oh,
I was
right.
just like, all I listened to was just like straight like Chirac stuff, and then I like trap started to kind of come alive in 2014. Kind of hit like mainstream big stages. Yeah, people like OK, Hoochie, Troy Boy, all the RL Grime. RL Grime was my
Yeah.
first show I ever saw, and I was like 14, snuck into the show, and like that's when I saw that and I felt that, and I was like, right then and there, I knew exactly what I wanted to do
That's
for the
awesome.
rest of my life. I was like, I want to do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting
So
that you say that too, because I feel like with especially riddim, like it does have a lot of that element. Like people people use the same word, or at least I've heard, for like a certain type of riddim versus like the SoundCloud rap. Like people call it like ignorant riddim. I feel like a lot of those
yeah,
elements definitely transfer over.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, all music kind of connects in some way. Whether it
Yeah.
just be you know technically when it comes to producing, it all just kind of comes together in some way. But like, I I'll just never forget that feeling I had and feeling that for the first time. Like,
Yeah.
yo, this dude just had like it was like he wasn't even crazy. He had just released like his Love So like just like
Oh, that's
fucking
crazy.
yeah. It
Legendary
was
show to be at.
yeah, and I remember just being like 14, just like this was all so new to me, and I just saw one man have like 100 people in the palm of his hand, and it was just like the coolest thing ever.
For
Um,
sure.
so that's kind of like then Ableton. My mom bought me Ableton for Christmas like that year, and
That's awesome, dude.
it was kind of all from there.
Yeah. So then that was the other thing that I was curious about is like, so from 14 until now, like how long did it take? I mean, because I know it's one thing, right, to like, which I'm kind of at the very start of my personal journey with producing, because I was the
Yeah,
opposite. Like I just was fucking around on little Pioneer SB in like high school,
yeah,
and then got into tunes. So like it's one thing to learn how to use the tools, which is like a struggle in itself. And then once you're past that, I feel like it's finding your specific sound. So like, how long did it
Um,
take you once you were making music, if that makes sense, to where you're like,
yeah.
okay, I have enough understanding of myself creatively and what I want to sound like, to where you're like, okay, I want to start this project and to build a whole aesthetic around it.
No, I hear you, dude, and it's. I wish I had a straight up answer for you. It's just like time spent in any doll is like time well spent, in my opinion. Whether
Yeah,
it's just like an
totally.
hour a day. Um, but like, dude, like the first like 3 or 4 years, man, like obviously you're still, well, if you want to say how long I've been producing, I guess like 14 to I'm 26 now, so like 12 years, but I can't count like the first four. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah,
so much you're learning, and that was before you had just 5 million YouTube videos to be able to pull up for these tutorials on whatever
totally.
the hell you wanted to. Truly, you just had to like learn yourself or learn from a homie, but I don't know. It just after a while, man, I took a pretty good break from because when it comes to producing, I've always just had such a open mind when it came to it. Try to just like not have a set goal whenever I open a project, just kind of seeing where the road takes me. Which I used to just hop in every time I opened Ableton. I just wanted to write like the next fucking festival, top 100 charts banger. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but it's just from that, I just learned you hit a lot of walls doing that, and you are constantly disappointed. So there's like throughout all the 12 years or whatever. Sorry, yeah, 12 years. Like there's just been you just realize a lot about yourself, just how you like to operate, how you like to work, and then that pocket just kind of falls naturally.
Yeah.
It just comes to you. You know what I mean? So it's just and you just kind of keep building and building, and you're just forever learning.
Yeah. No, that
I
totally
still I
makes.
still would say that I have like I my workflow, of course, or how I like to do things and process everything, but at the same time, like I still like wouldn't say I have a signature like sound
Sound.
or
Yeah.
way of doing things, man. Like that's what when I say I open up Ableton every day to just see where road takes me. It's truly it. Sometimes you land in a pocket like Roblox or some
Uh
shit,
huh.
like it just happens.
For sure. Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that too, because I've heard, just listening to interviews with people that I fuck with, like so many of them say the same thing. Like, yeah, that first year, 2 years, 4 years, however many it is, like they just don't count it as like quote unquote time that they've been producing music. It's just like, I mean, I remember like on one of like Subtronics when he's promoting his last album, he was like, dude, it was like the stuff I made was just not even listenable. Like it wasn't even music.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely can see that. But then that's I'm glad you brought up Roblox too, though, because I was curious about that because I read that little whatever you call it, little synopsis
little like artist
that
profile
collab
or
post.
artist
Yeah.
spotlight. Yeah,
Um, and I remember, so you said you sent it to Decimate and he was playing it
yeah,
out. Did that
yeah.
like have an impact, like seeing that reaction and having him play it out on like, oh, I definitely got to finish this. Like this is
Yeah,
something.
it was definitely because I remember I was this curious on I'd spent like 3 or 4 years just kind of being secretive under the table, just still making tunes. And I bought like a master class from him, or I bought like a one-on-one session with Ryan, and he it was he's in FL.
Oh,
So I was like, it was cool because you know, I did that. But that's how I kind of got the foot in the door with him, and just like started. Then I like sent him some shit before even Roblox, and
uh
he was like, "Oh, bro, like why, like kind of why are you buying lessons from me, dude?" Type shit.
huh.
And but I just that's kind of how we met in a sense. I bought a one on one with him, and then after a while, I just sent him Roblox one time where I didn't have an intro at the time, or I did, but it was just like a placeholder,
Uh huh.
and So that's why that Chaos edit came about, was because I just wanted something to be able to play live that one, people knew, and then to just have like the ultimate surprise of just like not at all what they're expecting.
The chaos
Um,
edit. Are you
so
referring to the one where the first two stabs are like slower that like you played at the
no. Must Die Chaos.
oh sorry, yeah.
Yeah, into Roblox.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And that's like the original one I sent him originally,
Oh no,
and that's
yeah.
bad.
You played that in the Club Studio time set too, right? That edit.
No, I didn't
Oh,
play the Chaos one. I don't play that one anymore because I have my live one that I play now.
right.
But back in the day, before I had finished Roblox, it was just like the Chaos, like from Must Die intro
Oh, okay.
into Roblox, and it's because I didn't have like an intro or anything done yet. And then I sent it to him one morning on my way to the gym before work, and he really fucked with it. And then he played it in Vegas that night, and like right then and there, I was like, okay, like he's Ryan has a very particular ear when it comes to tunes. Very rarely, if like you ever send Ryan anything, like he's like in love right away. It must like if Ryan's in love with a song that he hears like instantly, then
Uh
that
huh.
means that there really is something there, and that kind of was the case with that. And then him kind of being A&R for Savage Society, he pitched it to Solar, Blankface, and like, Arthur, and Suge Maze, and just like the whole crew. And they liked it. It wasn't like, oh my god, like we need to fucking sign this right now.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't quite that, but like Ryan had faith in it, which gave me faith in it to like get back into the project and proceed to move forward with it. But he kept playing it out like crazy, and then finally I met all of them at Forbidden Kingdom last year, in person. I had never even met them yet, and got to hang out with them. It was cool. It was actually a funny story. When Ryan had first, like the first time we officially like met when they played their Savage Society takeover at Forbidden Kingdom. Um, he played my tune, but I didn't quite like. I was so excited to like hear it on a festival stage,
Right.
and we talked about. We didn't like talk about it. I was like kind of giving him hints, like, "Yo, bro, I got the mask." Like, so I like if I could come up and type shit, because at that point they already said they were gonna sign it,
Uh
so I
huh.
knew like they were gonna sign it. It wasn't just like, but we never like he didn't truly fully understand what I was saying as far as like, hey, when you play, can I come up?
Right.
But in my head, it was like he didn't care, dude. And when he played it, I like came up on stage with everybody, and it was Solar, Blinkface back to back, Decimate back to back, Blood Thinners, and it was just a Savage Society takeover. And I just ran up there with my fucking mask on and kind of just photo bombed the whole fucking thing, and I was like the highlight of my like it was so much fun. It was like the coolest thing to see. And then
Right.
like he came up, he was like, "Bro, like if you ever do that again, like you were not welcome around me." I felt like I'm not the one to like
No way.
I'm not the one to ever like fuck up when it comes to like industry stuff like that. I know my P's and Q's, and I
Uh
know
huh.
exactly how to act, and that came across as the complete opposite. And I thought we were on the same page, but we definitely weren't apparently. Like
Yeah.
Solar loved it. Solar didn't care, but it was when Ryan was playing. It was like the footage. I like pretty much like got right next to him, and I fucking was acting a fool, going crazy because my
Yeah.
tune was being played out of FK. And he's like, dude, next time just like make sure you ask. Like if you asked, like I would definitely see it. But
Yeah.
it just wasn't a good first impression at all.
No, definitely not.
But we're super cool now. We like laugh about it now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that guy.
Yeah. That sounds like one of those things where it's like some motivational guru or something would tell you like do shit like that, like ask for forgiveness, not permission, but like
Yeah.
not that that's recommended to do, but I mean
Oh
it
yeah.
sounds like it worked out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did. It was definitely it's funny because I felt so bad because I don't take that shit lightly when it comes
No.
to like
Yeah.
how you act backstage, how you're supposed to move. Just like I take a lot of pride in that. And when it came to that, I was like so sad because I was like the total opposite of what I was trying to do as far
Right.
as like ruin anything or anything along those lines. So
Yeah.
but it's a funny story.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that too. Of like, like I get in my head about that for sure. Like, cause I'm 21, so I only recently was allowed to even go in these places.
Yeah.
Um, and so I remember actually like when, which is another thing I was going to ask you about, which we'll probably circle back to, cause like I don't know if they had the same fucking whatever you call it, the A9, the Nexus mixer at Candy. But the one where I played there, it's like the color knob on channel one is totally fucked up and it doesn't turn off unless you like
Oh
disengage the
yeah,
actual
the
effect.
fucking the effects. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Did they
absolutely.
brief you on that before you went in or no?
As far as what the last time I played there.
Yeah, for Wreck the Halls.
Well, that's the thing. We I noticed it when the Hostage Boys were doing sound check. I like noticed it then, and then I like went up there and I saw it myself,
Uh
and
huh.
I was like, we talked about it. We found we noticed it.
Uh
Like
huh.
we spotted it out immediately, but um yeah, that's crazy that you said that because um
Well,
I
no, because
remember that
that's
color
why.
knob just being bad.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up because I felt bad too because like I was right next to you, like to your left during that set, and I thought I heard it like a couple times of like it being turned on because it's like the knob doesn't even click at all. And
Yeah,
so I was like, should
exactly.
I say something? Like, so I don't even know if you were able to read it, but I put literally like a sign on my phone. I was like, yo, color knob. I think it like swiped away by accident, but then I was like,
Okay.
shit,
Dude,
was I just being
when
a
I'm
tweaker
DJing,
right
I'm
there?
so yeah, no, I'm no, I there's been so many times, especially specifically there where I like go to chop into something and then like dub echoes on or something
Yeah,
still, and it's like it's frustrating because I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to shit. So when it's not perfect, but like even like my sets are so thoroughly planned from like first song to last song, every single transition
right.
is like I probably have over like a full fucking year of hours just
Yeah.
in preparation for my shit. And so when little things like that happen, I get pissed off at myself, and I can it like kind of affects like my overall just how I feel the set went, like little things like that. And I just remember that set specifically. The one before that, when I was direct support for Freaky and Chassis, that one, shout out Taj, um,
Such a
and
homie.
all the Portland
Love that
homies.
guy.
Yeah. But it was just like I forgot what I was even talking
Oh no, you're
about,
good.
but overall, like I just didn't feel like that set um was I didn't feel too good about it
Yeah.
personally as far as my personal performance, but everyone else because and when I turn off all the lights and it's just black and white in there, it's just like really dark. It's
Right.
kind of hard to feel. It's kind of hard to feel the energy from out there. I only feel what's closest to me, and sometimes when people are like close to me and they're just kind of like watching and
Right.
not letting the music kind of like I don't know, not being entertained with the music, that like kind of projects on me too. So I feel like I'm not doing good. Um, and I don't know. That's why I struggle with 360 sets or even the idea of even playing 360 sets or stuff like that because I don't no I don't like people like that close to me
Right.
when I play. I guess I love the like, place like North Warehouse. Absolutely, I love
Yeah.
that disconnect from me to crowd. I love that. But I feel like if the people that are closest to me aren't like feeling it or like going crazy when
Yeah.
I'm dropping shit, I feel that and it feels like I don't feel like I'm doing a good job or I'm just not doing well. So like it's just I don't know. I don't overthink, but at the same time I have like this idea in my head of what exactly I want to accomplish with every set and how it
Yeah.
goes and just the preparation that goes into it and how I kill myself over it. It's like and if it doesn't turn out like that, it fucking bums me out.
Yeah. I totally relate to that, especially with Riddim of like how I mean, it sounds kind of weird to compare it, but of like it's more on the spectrum of like James Hype style of DJing, I feel like, where
Yeah.
it's like it's so intricate and you get in your head about these little things of like you practice this over and over again, on your own setup, it's like, fuck, the lows were supposed to be cut off for that one. Like the set's fucking ruined. It's
Yeah,
like, it's the same thing everybody says, like, oh yeah, nobody noticed, but it's like, bro, I noticed, and
yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing. Circling to the club studio time, like there's so many. There was one fucking deck that kept. I noticed it once, but I thought I was tripping, and then I loaded another song and did it again. And I actually saw it, but it like moved my grid over from the first kick of every.
oh shit,
It moved it to the clap, so you don't get your normal like boom
right,
clap. You get clap 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 like on every beat, which is
damn,
like I was so bummed out because it fucked up so many of my routines and like I like the worst performance I ever had probably as far as like flaws and fucking up. Of course, was recorded and videotaped for the whole world to fucking watch
of
over and over
course,
again.
right? That's always how it fucking,
But
yeah,
but it was still so much fun. It was, but at the same time, little things like that do like piss me off. There's little mistakes like that that are just so avoidable. Like having like a dub echo on a
yeah,
song that you're trying to drop into, and it just sounds like dog shit. It just doesn't hit the same way because you
right.
fucked it up. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I feel
But
like that's crazy though. Like, I feel like the beat grid, like changing while you're on the CDJ, is like the worst technical shit that I can possibly imagine happening. Except like an emergency loop or something. I mean, that's up there.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And it's
that's
like
crazy.
if you watch the videos closely, like you see me like scrambling way more than normal because I'm just like what the hell is going on right now? Like, I don't even know where to begin to try to fucking look to fix this right now. Like,
Yeah.
I was scatterbrained and I was just like freaking out. I was like, but I've been trying to be a lot better about it. Obviously, like when you're having back to backs and stuff like that, like it's just all fun, you know what I mean? You can't be like perfect, but
No,
I try
absolutely.
to be at the same time. Like you have people like Hamro, and you have so many people that just like DJ on the fly, and I just don't for the life of me don't understand how people do that. Obviously, like I could if I wanted to, but at the same time, like I'm just so used to my workflow, my process when it comes to planning and preparing for sets. Like it makes life so much easier when you just know exactly like what you're like planning for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
But
mean, it's like a
that's
totally
uh,
different skill, I feel like. I mean, that's like open format versus, I mean, not even open format, but like open plan kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. On the fly. People
Yeah,
just
on the
doing the
fly.
crazy trying to do stuff out live with doubles and like not even know how it's gonna go, but it ends up being fucking insane. Like
Yeah.
that's I mean I could do it, but it's just more or less just like my brain doesn't operate that way.
No, yeah. I'm totally the same way. Um, well, yeah, I mean, is there any like anything you any what's the word I'm looking for? Like skills or like exercises or like just because I feel like that's totally a mental game, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like if you have a collection of tunes that you've been curating, like you said, for that much time, and even if it's fucks up, like with the beat grid or something, you got it planned out a little bit, and so it's like you don't have any garbage tunes in your on your USB, is what I'm saying. So it's like it's gonna sound good. It's like more in your head of those types of things. Like how do you?
Yeah. It's all self-created,
Yeah,
absolutely all self-created. I mean, like I try to they don't I mean, yeah, out there when it comes to a rhythm set, like it's so hard to recover. It's so easy to recover from things, and honestly, people that are out there aren't fucking paying attention unless it's like your normal, like it's unless you're just a DJ yourself and you're really like studying and listening
yeah,
for like the people out there, the normal person doesn't care about stuff like that. And I forget about that. It's just
yeah,
about, but it's just like I just take my so seriously when I think sometimes like I guess when you circling back to just a mental practice is just like just trying to put on the best show I possibly can every single time I plug in. And just knowing that it's not gonna always be perfect. I feel like that North Warehouse show was probably the most closest thing to a perfect set I've ever played in my life. That like everything from start to finish, every
yeah,
transition was just like flawless, and I just expect that every time. So, but it's just how it goes, man. Like that's the thing. Like that's a personal thing. I felt like every transition, everything was absolutely perfect. But at the same time as DJing, man, you're just playing music for a party. That's you know what I mean. It's that's all I kind of keep reminding myself, or try to at least.
Yeah. Um, that's cool. Well, yeah, because that was before Roblox was even out, right?
Correct.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
it was September. The last day of September, September 29th or something like
Uh-huh.
that, was
Yeah.
the North Warehouse show. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was interesting for me too because like to see because I saw you there, and then the next time was at Wreck the Halls at Candy.
Yeah.
Um, and so like because I remember I was like totally gassed. I was like I was sitting like kind of to the side, and I was like I'm just gonna like listen and instead of like going crazy. And then you were I
Yeah.
think it was Roblox you were playing. I was like oh shit this tune is fucking crazy. So I looked you up, I followed you, and then I saw that you were gonna be at Candy, and so I was like oh shit I'm going.
I
And
appreciate that.
oh, of course. And then so I'd heard Roblox and like been using it in my own sets by that point, and so I was like I wonder like what he's gonna do with it, and I'll put a clip in right here of how you dropped it because it was like that clip is such gold, especially like the angle they had and like the hype that was around it.
Oh,
And
the one, yeah, 'cause I was talking about the first time I played the fucking Relax by Vile with it, like the live edit from Candy.
yeah, it was the
Right back,
clip that you
right
put
back
in
from it.
with the year recap slideshow.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So when I backspun it and shit, that was the
yeah
first
yeah
time I ever played it live. Yeah, I struggled to find a double with it for so long because it's such a massive tune.
yeah
Really struggled to find any double with it. Nothing ever sat right with me. I know right away when it's like, yep, this is it.
uh
But and then my homie Kai, he sent me that song, and I was like, you know what? On FaceTime. I was like, let me try it. It worked out fucking like perfectly.
yeah
And I was like, oh my God, like this is so fucked. And then, so that was like the one thing we were the most anticipating, or like, I guess, excited to see how the reaction was, because that was the first time I ever played that like little routine
yeah
live. And dude, just went absolutely fucking bananas.
yeah. I like the way that tune like plays, especially like cut in without the little like the 2 beat long like build up is like
Yeah,
it's like an explosion like sonic
yeah,
explosion.
exactly.
And then with the fucking like dude it was so good. And then that was kind of like a question I had is like when you have a tune like that where you're coming into a show and it's like okay everybody here who knows me has heard this and wants to hear it like because obviously it's one thing to find a really good double with it but then I'm curious
Yeah,
also like the element of surprise is like something you play with there where it's like how much surprise do you want to go like do you want to totally like quartet country rhythm it or like people are like oh shit is that it you know what I mean
yeah. No, I hear what you mean. I totally get what you're asking. It's like I, I've ever since I started DJing, I've always been in love with edits, and I've always been in love with being able to catch people off guard, or make people think like, okay, make people think like, okay, I know exactly like what this song is and
yeah
how it's gonna go, and being really particular on what songs I pick to be able to just like completely catch you off guard with is um like, and that was, that tune right there. And obviously I knew, obviously at that point, Roblox, I think might have been at like less than 10K, so it was still pretty fresh. But like it was, I've always, if think that it's gonna do well, if it's always just kind of been, if I feel good about it, I I'm positive other people will. Just because if I think it's tight, I think other people think it's tight. But sometimes it misses, sometimes it doesn't. But like, I knew for as soon as I made that little like fucking like edit
Hmm.
to Roblox with like the really extended little
The
fake out
extended,
thing right there.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It would be it would go off, especially with just the way I bring it back in is like you said, it's kind of like just blows your brain out of the back
Yeah,
of your head,
totally does.
and that's kind of what I wanted to go for, and that's what I always wanted to try to accomplish, but it just took a really long time for me to get there with that tune, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Was
was. I think
that
it's
was that the first you said that was the first time you'd played that edit at that candy show?
yep.
I was
If
like,
you listen carefully in the video, you'll hear my the photographer Kai in that video, and you hear him laugh, and it's like it makes me smile every time because like his laugh is fucking so funny, and he's like one of my best friends, so we knew it was about to go off,
yeah.
but but if you hear after I backspun it, hearing everyone go absolutely nuts and feeling
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then you just hear him laugh in the back, and it's just like I look back on little things like that, and it's just so funny because it did exactly what more than we could ever imagine. Like as soon as the show was done in the green room, he like showed me the video on the camera, of course with like no sound.
Yeah.
Um, but like I knew right away it was just like, or it was like a little bit of sound out of
Yeah.
his camera. But like I was like, dude, I need that right away. I
Right
need
now. Yeah.
that soul drop of that whole set was like the most insane energy I felt in forever, and I just needed to see it. I just absolutely needed to fucking see it.
Yeah. I feel like would you say then cuz I was also going to ask about that cuz I totally get what you're saying with like the being kind of thrown off doing those 360 shows where there's people around you who are like in the section, quote unquote, or whatever, and they're just because it is like because I feel bad sometimes because I I'll be kind of that where it's like it's so cool just to be so close and like look at what's going on.
Yeah,
Um, and then for something like the North Warehouse, it's like no, this is like the section here where if you're here, you're jumping around, you're dancing, like there's no in between. But then for things like
exactly.
that, would you say like doing a more intimate show where it's like it is those big moments where it's you think it's like would you say it's like even more hits more in that way than like a bigger show would be?
I mean, I don't know, dude. They like they're completely different feelings because like Candy is such an intimate nightclub, right? And I
Yeah.
loved play. I always love playing Candy because if it's packed in there, dude, like if there's 150 people in there, dude, this shit's fucking lit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's fun. And I love that, but at the same time, being on a big rig and like being able to see like fans' videos and stuff after the show of and just seeing the production behind you. Because when you're playing, you have no idea what's going on behind you. You
Yeah.
have no idea like what you truly look like when you're doing it until you see videos and you're like, holy shit! Like that North Warehouse show, like production was that wall's crazy and it's
Yeah, the
super clean
wall's
and with
crazy.
that rig. You know what I mean? So it always looks fucking insane, but at the same time, like they have their own special feelings, I guess. But like even when the boys, the ATLing boys were playing that mission out here, and one of my best friends, Beast Boy, was playing back to back with Cyclops, and he brought me out for our collab. Like Mission Ridge, not Mission, sorry, Mission Ballroom. Mission Ridge was a fucking snowboard ski resort from when I was like in college. We'd go to all the time, so I apologize.
Oh
Mission
no,
Ballroom.
you're totally fine.
Um, Mission Ballroom. That's like what I think 45 or 5,000 people in
Oh
one
shit.
room, and like just getting on a big ass booth like that, um, and just hearing crowd reaction of 5,000
Yeah.
and like having going knowing it back to 150 in a small room and being able to hear screaming that close to you, like
Yeah.
they have their own specific feeling, but they all feel equally as good.
Yeah. I feel like I imagine club studio time would be a more on that end of like the last thing you said of like because I mean club studio time like there are some guests. I mean what my guess is like, there it's like a much higher ratio of like, other artists to just regular people who are in there to for the music and to have a good time versus like,
Yeah.
what I mean, people who are going to just be who not only like are going to be hype because they know how much effort it takes and they know exactly what you're doing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, and it's like it's and that's always kind of been the setting's a lot different, when you're around your peers as far as like in the industry, it's a little bit different, you know what I mean? When you have someone out there that's watching you and like even I played in Vegas a couple weeks ago and it was for Decimate. That was the first time Decimate had actually ever heard me play ever. Um, so like little things like that, it's like it's a little bit nerve-wracking because like you wanna show them like what's up, because they have
Uh
no
huh.
idea. But like when it's yeah, when you're around just a bunch of other artists, it definitely hits different for sure because you just want to make sure you're respected by your peers or you know, but at the same time, like I don't give a fuck if that makes sense. Like
No,
if I'm
yeah,
having fun, you know.
yeah. I feel like
Um,
I'd almost be like equally amount of nervous to play for like a room 4 times bigger than I ever have versus like two DJs that I look up to or like even one.
yeah,
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 but that actually brings me back to something that I thought about, when looking at your stuff and prepping for this was, the Grammys just happened and then Skrillex won the Grammy for Rumble and he's one thing that he said in his speech like really resonated with me or actually not really because I hadn't thought about it like that before is he said, success is something that you attract, not something that you try to achieve, which sounds kind of generic, but
exactly.
basically like and this is like I booked a kind of the same thing that you did with Decimates with Creso. He did Club Studio Time too. It was like
Yeah,
one of the previous episodes. And so I
yep,
got a production lesson from him and I was like, asking some questions about like, social media marketing, because I did do some of that before I was even doing this. And he's like,
yeah,
dude, that shit doesn't even like, I mean, yeah, it's important, but it's not important until you find like just the most important thing to spend your time on is like figuring out how to like how you want to express yourself. What's your sound? What's your what's the most raw form of expression in a sound that you get out there? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I was wondering if you think you attribute because like, you know, your project is so unique compared to a lot of ones that I've seen. And so, would you say that that's like, do you attribute that at all to like how fast you've been, kind of blowing up recently? Of like,
Um, that's the thing, man. Like I, the way I look at it, man, is there's a lot of masked DJs out there right now, and
uh
I why they're masked, it's kind of every scenario might be different. The way I approach that, I like I don't wear a mask to try to look cool or to try to like perceive like don't get me wrong, I love the aspect of being anonymous and
huh,
that's I want to be able to keep personal life and stuff like that. I'm not hiding anything, but like at the same time, the main goal for this project has always been to eliminate all extra bullshit that comes along with the industry or just your normal ego stuff that comes along with just this dubstep or rhythm or anything along that comes
uh
along with
huh,
this. I hide my face because I don't want any other extra factors playing into like the success of the project. I want it to be solely just because of the music. I'm not wearing a mask to look cool or any of the like I don't care to look cool. I care
yeah,
about just having the music speak for itself and it being successful because either the music is good enough or it's not. You know what I mean? Like
right,
I want to eliminate any other adding factors that could like, add for any success in the project. I just want to eliminate all of it. You know what I mean? And
right.
I love like the mystique and like the vibe of what I got going. Like I'm still there's still so much stuff I want to hone in on with this project as far as um whether I want to hold I have so many plans, you know, but at the same time I'm just trying to simplify it as much as possible by just keeping it strictly about the music. You know what I mean? Like you'll see me, I'll come, I'll I'll get escorted up or whatever. I'll plug in. You won't hear me talk. You won't hear me talking on the mic really.
Hmm.
Um, I don't really like that personally.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, but I don't feel like a DJ needs to talk at all. You know what I mean? The music will
Yeah.
tell you everything you need to know. Um, but at the same time, everyone's different. I don't knock on anyone that does
No.
talk,
Yeah.
but it's not for me. And I remember actually probably the only time I ever will speak on a mic was for Freaky and Chassis when it was one of my best friend's birthday, and he came up and went back to back with me out there, and I like had the whole crowd sing him happy birthday and shit. I even said on the mic, this will probably be the first and only time you'll ever hear me speak on the mic. But I just wanted to if you guys could help me sing happy birthday to my best friend, I'd really
Uh,
appreciate it.
that's awesome. Yeah, I was
Um,
curious about that too. Is like that's interesting to hear you talk about the reason because like do you would you say that you also have like a passion or interest in like that building that kind of mystique and the art, you know what I'm like, I don't know if it makes sense, like the art that's not the music, it's like the like that jacket that you have, I mean that looks obviously custom made, like the visuals, the aesthetic, the all that, is it, would you say that that's like just an afterthought or is that something that you
well, I guess kind of at the same time, yeah. The goal to accomplish in the project should like be have that factor to who
yeah
is he, but at the same time is the way I go about it. I want to just really resonate and kind of flourish because of just dude, like the guy just comes up, he plays, and he leaves.
yeah
I'm not trying to, but like the mystery aspect of it,
yeah
I do love that, and I would love to keep that, but that's not like the main goal, if that makes sense. It's just
absolutely yeah
I just want to play, unplug, get the hell out of there. You know what I
yeah
mean? And just have fun, give people a good time, and really just express the best I can. And then just unplug, and
just
go
head out.
change, and come out. It's like the coolest feeling to show up wearing one thing, and then
Yeah, it's like
go
shapeshifter
back,
almost.
change, go back, change, play, and then go back and change back in the outfit, and I'm just out there with everybody, and
Yeah,
nobody has a single clue. Like that's the sickest thing ever
that
to me
is,
personally.
yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, I totally agree. Cause like you can, there's definitely like, there's something to like, you know, yelling, talking, getting everybody hyped. Like, but then like you said, yeah, just like it's the music and nothing else. And then cause I watched the masterclass, like actual, like on the company masterclass from Questlove,
Yeah.
who's like more old school, but he's like, yeah, I just usually what he does, he said at the end of his sets, is he just like leaves something looping that will have people still dancing and dips out. And so like people will
Yep.
still be dancing and they look up there just like, oh, he's literally not there
Gone.
anymore.
Gone.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Um okay, let me see what else I have here. Oh yeah. that that's one of the things that I love about Club Studio Time is that was that guy with the hat and that red out. That was Lash Miller, right? The guy who was like screaming at
Yeah.
everyone who like fell backwards.
Famous Lash Miller.
Yeah, dude, that's why one of the reasons I love Club Studio Time is because like I found out who he is just through that. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like I gotta find out
I was
who
just
this
with
guy is.
him. I was just with him last night. It's so funny.
Yeah, dude, his reactions had me dying, dude. He was like,
That's just he that man is a star child. He definitely he's a good man. He's a great heart, good just all around person. He's funny as hell. It's he's a good guy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, yeah, he definitely was having fun back there. It was Thanksgiving Day when that episode was
right,
filmed.
yeah,
We were all kind of tore up, which might play into the factor a little bit of a couple fuck ups, but it's okay. We're having
right,
fun.
yeah. I was like, I was fucking dying. Like they like cut to him like checking his pulse. He's like,
Yeah,
okay, we're good.
yeah, he's so funny, man. He's hilarious. He's definitely not shy, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, a couple more questions I wanted to get out of
Yeah.
you. Is so what would you say is like the I don't know, like the penultimate, like not penultimate implying that like once you do that there's nowhere else to
Like,
go. Like what would be like the one dope thing for the Mistress project if you were to be able to do where you're like I fucking made it. I mean, not that there's one moment and you know what I mean, but like
yeah.
is there anything specific you have in mind?
I guess like just like I feel like if I was able, I mean, little wins, I guess. Like you have things that you dream of. Like I would love to, I feel like a huge, actually that's easy. Now that I think about it, like if I had a set, let's say like years down the road, and next thing you know, I'm like playing main stage at the Gorge for like Base Canyon
Yeah.
to like I that probably might be the most pinnacle bucket list moment of my whole life. Being like going to the gorge since I was like 14 and like sneaking into these festivals when I wasn't even old enough to fucking I would like jump the fence. I don't think I've ever bought a ticket to the gorge my whole life. I've like for like the first 4 years I would just jump the fence and just sprint to like the fucking like down into like the pit area of main stage, and that's just like how I operated. But like I feel like playing main stage at the gorge would be that moment for me. I would cry like a baby.
Yeah. Main stage at the
And
gorge.
yeah, man, like that. Just just taking back this, rewinding back just all the years and hard work it took to get there, man. Like that. That would be very, very, very sentimental to me for sure. Oh, I don't even think it would have to be main stage. It was just any, I played the campground stage and stuff before, like last year, but like I mean, in the festival,
Right.
and that would be a huge milestone. And I think from there, that would be pretty hard to beat personally. Obviously, like there's always more festivals, there's always bigger stages, but that one specifically is gonna really hit special for me when it
Yeah.
happens for sure.
Yeah, that totally makes sense too of like yeah, like there's way bigger festivals, but it's like about the story behind it, you know, of like
Yeah,
the role that it played into yeah, totally. I mean, that's like the North Warehouse for me is like the first show that I ever went to was Barely Alive. And I know one of the security guards there, and which I didn't even remember. Like it slipped my mind that she was like, "Oh yeah, I work at this like rave place," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, I run into her there. I was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And so I was like talking to her the whole time, and then I like met all of the openers, you know, like the local support, and like
yeah,
connected with them, and that's like what started the entire thing for me. Of like, you know, it's like yeah, the like North Warehouse is like there's huge venues like even in our city there's that are bigger, but it's like it's about the story of and the
yeah,
people.
absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely like I remember when I first went to the North Warehouse too. It was like for G Jones and E Prom on Halloween a couple years back, and it was like I've been to Portland many times. I've been to 45 East. I've been to a bunch of places out there, but that was the first time I'd been there, and that was before like they put a bunch of money into it. It was kind of more like DIY type feel.
Uh-huh.
And it was cool. Don't get me wrong, like G Jones and E Prom is it's the best you could fucking get as far as producing, and um, it was cool. I mean, the sound system was kind of shot. It didn't sound good to me. I didn't have like the best time there, but like the next time I went, I think Chris right at 10 was in town. He invited me to come down and kick it for a little bit. Um, and that was the first time I had seen it since they put all the money into it with the new like new sound and just like all the new production. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this place is fucking sick. Never did I ever think I'd play it so soon.
Right.
Shout out to Max for sure that made that happen. But yeah, that was probably one of my top three favorite shows for sure so far
Yeah.
was that North Warehouse show. Just, I mean, obviously it's Virtual Riot. He's gonna pull out a
He's
sold
the
out
fucking
show
goat. Yeah.
anywhere he goes. You know what I mean? So being able to be direct support for him like that was pretty fucking awesome for
Yeah.
sure. It was so funny because like so many people, and that's at this point in my in this project's like life.
Mhm.
But like at that point, no one's. There's still so many people that don't even know who I am, and it's cool to like keep gaining all these new support and followers and stuff like that. But like, it's so funny because like after the dude that before me played, everyone thought Virtual Riot because my intro is pretty nuts
Yeah.
as far as like just like the story behind it and stuff. So everyone
Uh-huh.
thought it was straight Virtual Riot. And then when I fucking pop up, they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Yeah, there was one video where it happened, or like the first drop, and then you hear in the background of some videos like, "Oh, I thought fucking," it was like, "Oh, I
Oh,
thought
that's
Virtual
crazy.
Riot was next," or some shit like that. Like
It's
it
like,
was, you hear it in the video, it's so funny.
dude, Virtual Riot like changed up his whole look. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, dude. I like pop up and like there's like 500 phones up in the air, like because they think it's Virtual Riot, and it's just like
Oh
me, and
gosh.
you just see like everyone just like some of them drop, like what the fuck is this? Like who is this guy?
Was that nerve-wracking when that happened?
Not necessarily, dude. That's like because the way I curate it in my head, like I know exactly what I'm trying to accomplish
Uh-huh.
with everything that I do when it comes to my live performances and shit. Like I what I'm trying to project and what I'm trying to capture and what I'm
Yeah.
trying to express. It's just like when you hear a set by me, it's usually like the first 45 to 50 minutes is just the most crazy, like it's very hard, more like just
Hmm.
tear your head off for 50 minutes straight. But then you'll notice the last 10 minutes of my set are all my like future stuff and like
Uh-huh.
more my soft, um, just like the other side of me, which is pretty much that's the last 10 minutes of a Mr. set is usually the real me, if that makes
Uh-huh.
sense. Don't get me wrong, like, I love making rhythm and I love that, but it's at the same time I don't just make that. I make so many different genres,
Totally.
and the sad boy kind of more feelier, colorful, future stuff.
Yeah.
That's what sits in my heart, in a specific pocket. You know what I mean? Like it's
Uh-huh.
every song. There's this Juice World remix that I play or edit, sorry, that I play, and I remember like I was down bad so bad one night. I was just super depressed, and there was like two options for me, man. It was one way was not a good way. I'm not going to go into detail
Right.
about it, but and the other way was to open up Ableton. Those were my two choices. And I opened up Ableton and I made that night. And to this day, every time I play it, I like fucking I cry because it's
Yeah.
just like that song specifically like saved me from like a very deep place, and it takes me back to when I made that track. Little things like that that I guess, a little insight that maybe you don't even know, but
Yeah.
like obviously that last Candy show, I went back to back with my boy Sinzo for the last 30, so I didn't really like play any of the softer stuff
Yeah.
towards the end. Like I try to choreograph, or I try to create like this movie aspect when I play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
that's
definitely
that.
feel that too. I mean, it was like, which I was forgot to say earlier of what you're when you were talking about it, but like when that I love that idea of like, because most DJs, they go for production, but then when you take those lights down, it's the complete opposite, and it like almost grabs your attention more, even if you have like 100 fucking lasers in the place. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
okay. Um,
And I draw so much inspiration from so many different places, like G Jones, like the whole black and white. I think it's so like it's so clean and like aesthetically like pleasing. Just having all black and white, everything
yeah,
from production to the shows to like even my Instagram, everything's black and white. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I everything about black and white, just like I love it so much. But the way I got that emotion was just seeing a G Jones set live, or like seeing the way he operates. I'm not like in a copying term, but at the same time, like massive inspiration that comes behind it to just understand like that I love that. You got to have an example to understand, and that's that he was my example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like choreographing my like a set, or putting a set together, and that movie aspect I got from R.L. Grime. You know what I mean? It's just like just little things of inspiration of just trying to make it mine, but like still knowing what I want to accomplish with something, because of an example or an emotion that resonated with me when I saw someone else's art. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, that gives me actually another idea for, because I feel like that question I asked you is is kind of a two-parter of like, the number one, like I made it thing, but then also like there's the opportunity aspect of like this festival or this venue would be awesome to play, or making it whatever with this artist. What do you think in terms of more of the creative side? Like, is it an album, or is it like, you know what I
Um,
mean?
yeah, I've been really kind of trying to dive deep in my head about just, I guess that's when we'll talk about getting my ducks in a row of really trying to plan for something as far as an EP or an album. Like there's and how to still tie in the mystery aspect to everything and still like brand well. Like
Yeah.
it's been kind of tough, honestly. Like it's just like this point of the journey in this project could really kind of solely like like it's it's so hard to like explain, but like this point in time I'm at in this project right now is could like forever tell how it's going to be. You know what I mean? So like every move that I make is has to be very thought out and very like 100% sold for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's of course like I plan on hopefully maybe by the end of this year, depending on stuff, maybe dropping an EP by the end of the year, or whether it be early next year. It's just I have so many tunes that are just kind of stacked up
Yeah.
in the arsenal. I just got to really, and I create every day, which is hard because I have so many unfinished things. And you have people asking to collab, and you have other stuff. It's kind of hard. I couldn't imagine being, well, I mean, I could, because if I was gonna say I can't imagine being up there and having every person in the world wanting to collab with you, but when you have all day, every day, and it's your full time job, I'm sure you can manage.
Right. Yeah.
uh, but it's just one of those things where I just got to finish up what I need to finish up and just really plan accordingly to what I want to do, and try to also incorporate branding, um, so for it all to make sense.
Yeah.
It's it's unfortunate that you got to pay so much attention to the social media aspect of today's modern day and
It's
age in
such a
this industry,
grind.
but
Yeah.
like, yeah, because um, I'm not too active on social. I try to be, but as far as like you'll never see me making like a production clip of a whip and like posting it on Instagram with
Right.
all these crazy. You'll never see me do that. It's just not me. It's just yeah, it's just not me.
No,
But
totally.
I just really got to hone in on. I've been really trying to grind and hone in on what I'm trying to accomplish with this project, as far as just action and moves, as far as from here on out.
Yeah. And
Um,
like, don't get me wrong. I didn't mean that question of like, oh, when's like an executive type of,
no,
when's an
I
album
hear
coming
you. I
out?
hear you.
It's like,
I didn't think that was the case.
yeah. Because I like what you said of like, making it a movie. I feel like that's with like an EP or an LP. It's like, it gives you the opportunity to like really tell a story. Um, but yeah, it was more just like, yeah, like,
Did, did I answer your question?
yeah,
I feel like
totally.
okay.
No, yeah, I was
Yeah,
I was trying
I
to
was
think if I needed to like rephrase it, but no, I think your answer
no,
is
I think
is
I got
perfect.
you. Yeah,
Um,
I think I got you.
yeah, and then this was one that I forgot from earlier, which I was thinking about, because like when I was looking through your Instagram, I saw you did that little trailer for the debut show where you were at like this gas station, you know, with the mask on and everything. And that made
Yeah,
me think
yeah.
like, has there any been, oh my God, I can't speak. Has there ever been any like weird interaction you've had or something where it's like you're walking around with this mask on and people are like,
Dude, it sucks because it's so funny you say that because like whenever we're filming like content with a mask on, I'm like always so like I wear it when to get whatever we need to get, and then I take it off like immediately because like
immediately?
I'm
Yeah.
so scared like people are gonna think like I'm out here robbing somebody or even like out in the when I was tagging up that wall in Portland, I like I don't know, I was just like I'm only putting it on for when I need to put it on.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I mean, altogether that thing is not fun to wear, especially to play in.
Yeah. No, I saw you like drink water through the mask during
Through
a
it.
studio
Yeah, I have
set.
to drink. Yeah, I have to drink through my mask, and if it's like any kind of alcohol or anything like that, it just like for the rest of the set, like my whole face just smells like
Okay,
vodka.
you're just
You know?
breathing it in.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
just
God.
it's a new mask is in the work for sure. I have definitely a lot of plans on where that's going as well. I definitely I'm I'm getting one made right now, so I'm excited for the new mask. It's just I gotta really I just it's hard playing in a mask. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that, I mean, I would imagine it definitely gets hot and then trying to drink and stuff, but it's like when I first thought about it, I was like, well, no, because you can still see everything. I mean, it's not blocking your vision, but then, and then you think about like Marshmallow and these freaking guys. I'm like, I don't even know.
But dude, they have fucking fans in their
Oh, yeah,
shit,
that's
bro.
true.
Like
Yeah.
they have full on like they're chilling and like he sees just fine. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm saying, like it's I see fine too, but the next one, like this new one that is in works right now, like I'm my full face is absolutely covered,
Oh, no.
and like I just like it's gonna be hard to. I'm just curious on how it's gonna work out because I definitely I would love to be able to at least drink water through my shit. You know, like
Yeah.
even like the ATLian boys, like they have to get a straw in every single like one of their waters or something like
Right.
that. So like, but you'll never see them ever drinking through their mask ever. It's
No.
crazy. But like, yeah, I'm excited for the new mask, but I'm also not excited. I'm just nervous about it because in a dark room, it's going to be even harder to see. And
Yeah.
that mask is no joke. It sucks,
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
worth
it's
it to be
like,
able
yeah,
to
totally
separate.
for the art. Yeah. But then like your actual like nervous system is like, oh shit, like I gotta actually
Yeah,
breathe and
exactly.
shit.
And even like when I played like the freaking little campground stage at Base Canyon or whatever, it was like 107 degrees outside.
Oh God,
I'm wearing a fucking ski mask.
Jesus.
And like granted, I was wearing like a cutoff with no sleeves and like shorts, which is like I would never ever do.
Uh huh.
But it actually wasn't that as bad as I thought it would be, but it definitely was not fun. I remember that.
Yeah. But then that's the other thing I think. I mean, even beyond just the hassle of wearing it, like that I would have assumed, because it's like, I mean, that is the like in a movie where somebody breaks into your house and is like gonna tie your family up. I mean, it's like the black, just the eyes. But you have never gotten any like gotten in trouble or had someone be like,
No,
"What's going on?"
no, never. And I'm always so scared to put it on in public for that
Yeah.
specific reason. Not because I think anything's gonna happen to me, but I just don't want people to think I'm gonna fucking rob their store or something like that,
Yeah.
or opt to pass me and like be like, oh my, what the hell is this guy doing? Like
Yeah.
pull me over, or just like give me shit. I just that part of wearing it in public is sketch, but for the most part, it's not too bad. I only wear it when I have to.
Yeah.
If it's just to like get this clip real quick, I'll wear it just like for a quick clip, and then I'll take it right off after
Yeah.
because it's like I'm not gonna just walk back all the way to my car downtown
No,
just
actually,
wearing my,
yeah.
you know what I
No
mean?
way, yeah. Well, yeah, because
Especially
especially if you're careful and it's like you have a guy with a camera on you and then you take it right off, it's like, okay, they're they're doing something.
exact. Yeah,
Um,
especially just walking downtown Portland with a fucking ski mask on just doesn't sit right with me, I guess.
no, definitely not. Um, okay, man. Well, yeah. So probably last couple of things here is if you had like one thing to say to like that, what's like the biggest piece, not maybe not of advice or just like thing you would have to say to like younger people who are starting out, who are trying to chase that same passion of making music, even if it's not the same genre, but you know, the thing we do is kind of different than other things, like of like
Yeah,
trying to chase that passion while balancing just everything else of like you have to hold down a job or going to
yeah,
school, stuff like that.
I hear you. And just know that it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be very hard. And more or less it's gonna kick you off your high horse or just make you feel like shit more than it'll make you feel happy. But it just really you just gotta really sit and think about what your whys are and what you value as a human and what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? This industry can be very, very, very toxic. But that's the whole. That's kind of like my why. You know, I'm trying to just keep my small circle and just keep it as simple as possible. But I would say just keep going, keep going. You gotta. One of my good friends, Russ, like the artist, Russ. He's a pretty good buddy of mine, and he's all full independent with everything. And he just you got to give yourself the best thing I've ever kind of heard. Not the best thing, but like one thing he said recently about he put it in perspective of like baseball. Right, I played baseball for 19 years, and like if in baseball when you go 1 for 3, right, you have 3 at bats and you get on base one time, you're in the Hall of Fame, right? That's a 333% like batting average. You're doing good. But like if you never allow yourself or if you're constantly scared to release anything, going back to music terms, you got to give yourself as many at bats as possible. You can't be scared to release stuff based on what you think people are gonna think about it. You have to just have confidence that it makes you happy and you accomplish exactly what you were trying to accomplish personally, not for anybody else. You're not making music for anybody else. You're making music for yourself. At the end of the day, you just gotta give yourself more at bats. You can't just like release 2 or 3 songs a year and just be like, oh, what the hell? Like only one of them went off. Like no, well that's because you gave yourself 3 at bats and you only got on once. You know what I mean? But let's say you give yourself 10 at bats, 10 songs a year. 3 of them. It just increases your odds of hitting maybe a specific goal or riding a hit or. But it's just like you can't just be scared based off of what other people are doing and how successful other people are. I've battled with it too. I mean, it comes with the game. It's impossible to not deal with it, but at the same time just stay focused on what you're doing and just keep doing what makes you happy. I know it's so cliche to say, but if what you're creating is igniting a certain emotion inside of you that you feel good about, that's all that fucking matters. It doesn't matter how long you've been producing. Doesn't I don't care. Just fucking put stuff out, keep creating, and keep evolving, man. That's the only way to get to this unlocked version of yourself. You know what I mean?
Wise words. That's awesome, man. I feel like yeah, it's like people say it's cliche, but no matter how cliche stuff like that is, it's like sometimes like I mean me myself personally, like some of that shit, it's like yeah, you have to hear that and be reminded of it every once in a while of like, dude, it's not like there's nothing really bad that's going to happen if you put something out that's you know like that
Yeah,
is not the most amazing thing that's ever happened, or you're like, what the fuck, I put three
yeah.
whole songs out, I'm not viral yet.
You're always gonna be your own biggest like you are the only reason why you will not be successful. Just always know it's never gonna be somebody else.
Very true. All right, man.
Um,
Well, before we head out, is there anything that you got coming up that you're like excited about that you want to plug, or is there anything in the works that we can get some insight into, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna hit 1,000, 1K on or on SoundCloud here soon. So probably expect like a nice little freebie.
Okay.
Um, Possibly working on a nice little. It's in the works for a possible Roblox remix compilation. Um,
Okay.
it's possible you could expect a VIP as well, and that's all I'm gonna
Oh
say about
shit.
that.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah,
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
Roblox VIP.
yeah. It's in the works for sure. But um, definitely I guess a goal for mine this year is maybe try to get on some agency and try to get some bookings and probably possibly just some merch maybe or start. I'm starting kind of rapping and getting ideas out of my head of what I'm trying to accomplish with that. But just little things like that. As far as music, you just got to kind of stay tuned on that. But yeah, I just that's all I could really disclose at the moment.
For sure,
But
man. Yeah, I saw
I'd say
those
like huge.
I saw those little sneak peeks of those shirts. Those look fucking sick. I'm definitely gonna snag one of those.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I just trying to get some. I just wanted to like I had these ideas in my head. And I just wanted to see them like on a blank somewhere, you know.
For
So I was
sure.
just like, I fucked with it. There's still probably gonna be there's some other ideas I need to get knocked out to just kind of start numbing it down. And I want to have like samples to be able to wear myself first when I play, and then. But I was actually shocked with how many people actually reached out to me and were like, "Yep, like take my money" type
Yeah.
shit. I was like, "Holy
Yep.
shit!" That was cool.
Exactly.
Uh, but like, yeah, man, I want to say like huge shout out to Solar and Blankface and just all the Savage Society guys. Point blank, it's funny. He's actually in my living room right now, fucking watching whatever he's watching. Um, but like just all the fucking like David Yaks, like that people have done so much for me in this industry that especially like Beast Boy, Kai, like so many. Like the list can go on for how many things that people have done for me thus far into this project to help me out or just to just be a good person and I can't thank all of the homies enough for everything they've done for me for sure. Without homies, who knows where I'd be right now for sure. Huge shout out to Club Studio Time too. I doubled my Instagram followers in like
Yes, sir.
fucking a week from them. But yeah, love everybody over there. But um, thank you all for who supports and who've been following me and this project, and for those who are just kind of finding out. It's just a pleasure to have all of you for sure. Thanks for the support, and hope to give you guys some new music soon.
Awesome, man. Mistress, dude. Thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate your time, and thank all of you for tuning in. This is totally new experiment for me. I've never really interviewed anyone, so thank you so much, man, for starting this off with an absolute fucking bang. I don't know
Yeah,
who the fuck
absolutely.
I'm gonna get next that's gonna outdo this, so
No, dude,
I gotta think.
I appreciate you for having me, man. This is awesome that you're doing this. Hopefully, a lot comes out from it for sure. I loved always listening to like the Willie Joy podcast and stuff like that. And it's really cool I didn't even think about it till just now that I'm just kind of doing the same thing that I've always just kind of listened to. It's pretty cool. So thanks for being my first kind of experience with that.
Yeah, same to
Um,
you, man. All right.
so I really do appreciate it, man. I hope sorry I woke up late.
No, you're totally fine. So yeah, thank you guys almost so much for watching. We got some people online for the next couple of episodes here. We'll see what ends up. We don't even have a working title yet, but we're gonna work on something. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next one.